Welcome to I'm Telling You. This is the second installment. I recently did my first one, and a friend of mine came to me and asked, what is it that I hope to accomplish on this channel? And I thought of it over the 4th of July holiday, rattled it around in my brain a little bit, trying to think what it is that I want. And ultimately, I guess what it is I want people to come to the basic realization that economically and politically we have zero power. Zero. And if you don't believe that, let me just give you a couple of examples of things that I look at that tell me that no one, and I mean no one, really cares about us. Net neutrality. Passed. They threw it away. What they basically said was the internet, this right here, is not all that powerful. People could live without it. So what I want you to do is I want you to go the next 48 hours without using the internet and tell me that it's not a utility, that not everyone needs it. Not everyone needs access to it. Second example that proves to me we have absolutely no power whatsoever, that no one is listening to us at all. The current opioid crisis we find ourselves in was created by large corporations shilling out drugs and telling us that opioids weren't addictive. They did it year after year after year, and basically what they did was they put profit before the health of the American people. And when it came time for the government to do something about it, or maybe curtail it, they got together with a bunch of lobbyists, threw some money around, and next thing you know, even the federal case against these companies for shilling tons and tons of opioids on American streets went away. Third example. In 2004, our president at the time, George W. Bush, passed a Repatriation Act, which basically made it so that the larger corporations could bring money back into the United States and pay no taxes. Our current president in 2018 did exactly the same thing, with the exact same result, which was corporations didn't pay any taxes. We didn't get any more jobs or any more growth. What we got was an extra $4 trillion added to an already at that time $17 trillion budget deficit. So he took your money out of your pocket and he handed it off to a bunch of people that really didn't need it. That's not listening to you. That's not doing what needed to be done for us. So this is the point of the channel. One, I want you to wake up to the fact that we have no power, and then I want to tell you why. Why we have no power. We have no power is because we do not have a unified voice. We have absolutely no unified commitment. See, we're a little bit like that kid at Christmas that wants all the toys. Can't happen. Wouldn't fit in the house. We want our cake and we want to eat it too. We don't want to make any sacrifices. We're the guy that wants to eat whatever they want and still be in great shape. I got news for you. It doesn't work that way. If you don't work it out, it doesn't get in shape. If you stick it in your mouth and you don't work out, you're going to get fat. And guess what? We as Americans got fat, lazy, stupid, and are taking advantage of it. We, the people, we as a group, as a collective we have to decide what is important. I mean, really important. We have to think about what it is we want our nation to look like. Because right now, the politicians and the corporations and the richest 1%. They're not listening. And nor should they. We're not listening. We're not paying attention, and we're not doing anything. Want me to prove that to you again? How they're not listening? How they're taking advantage of our stupidity? Our lack of voice and commitment to the fact that our country is going down a rat hole? Citizens United. Wonderful euphemism. What it really should say is, please, corporations, come and buy a politician for cheap. I realize we're always going to have elites. We're always going to have rich people. We're going to always have politicians. We're always going to have business people. And I also believe that there is no single force created in this world better able to raise up people than capitalism. I truly believe that. Capitalism is the driving force where a person gets out of bed with an idea or concept, makes that idea and concept, and raises the standard of living of everyone. Everyone. I believe that. I do. I also believe, as Teddy Roosevelt did, that unconstrained capitalism grinds the people to dust. When there's no counterbalance to that capitalistic force, when there's no counterbalance to that wealth, when there's no counterbalance, they will take it to the nth degree. Proverbially, they'll say to us, let them eat cake. I want this channel to become a sounding board. The counterbalance to the capitalism and the bullcrap that's going on right now in our government, because right now we're not doing well. A counterbalance to the politicians, the corporations, and the powerful, because I need them to come back to one kernel, one idea, one concept. They need to understand the term noblesse oblige. It's the inferred responsibility of those that are elite, that have that power, to act with generosity and kindness, to act in the best interest of the we, realizing it's okay for them to have money. It's all right for them to have power. But in doing so, they have an obligation to everyone to make sure that it works. Because ultimately, their privilege, their position, comes from the we. Their power, their profit, and their wealth all comes from us. We the people. It comes from us. We grant them the ability to govern when we vote. We grant them the ability to make a profit when we buy their product or we work for them. And we put the uniform on and fight when we need to make sure that our system stays in place so that they can have their house, they can have their car, and they can have their $1 billion. Because without us doing that, they don't get that. Go to Nicaragua. How's that working out down there if you're an elite? Not very well. Because we're the cops. We're the servicemen. We fight the wars. We protect the streets. And we build your products and teach your children. And without us, it doesn't work. So you get your privilege if we get a little slice of the action, and we're not getting a slice of the action. Because you owe us a just government. A just government. You don't deserve to go into politics and come out wealthy, to turn your back to your constituents. Net neutrality is turning your back on the constituents. I don't care. The goods and services that you provide us as corporations, in return for us buying them, you need to provide us good jobs and the ability to have the opportunity to take care of our family and our communities. The wealthy, right now, the top 1% hold more in wealth than the bottom 90. 90 cents on every dollar goes to the top 1%. Maybe you could do with 75? 80? Would that be asking too much? No, you want 99.9%. But ultimately, if you continue on the path you're going right now, I believe that our nation will be just like Rome. It'll crumble. It'll fall. It'll fall apart. And it won't fall apart because of we the people. It'll fall because the politicians and the corporations and the richest of us, those that have the privilege, will believe that they deserve the privilege, that we didn't grant that to them. My entire economic life has been ruled under a concept called trickle-down economics. Brilliant concept. And basically what it said was, if you put the money up top, it'll trickle down and everyone will benefit. Well, I got a couple of news flashes for you. Great wealth was created. When I was young, we used to talk about a millionaire being a person who had a lot of money. I think I saw the other day, Jeff Bezos is worth like $118 billion. Good. I'm not saying he's not deserving of that. He is. He started a company. However, is he doing it in the best interest of the American people, or is he doing it in the best interest of him? Is he creating a system that chews people up and spits them out? And this trickle-down economics is great for creating wealth. It did. It really did. It created a lot of wealth. But it stayed up top because rich people are really good at keeping money. They don't spend it. And you know what's happened? The middle class, as I know it, the middle class that I grew up with, died. It shrank. Social programs are pariah. Taking care of children, elderly, mentally infirmed. Social programs got a bad name. The only time they get a bad name is when the Fortune 500 companies, specifically the banks and a few other insurance companies, decided to get really stupid, along with a couple of car companies I know of, and run our economy into the toilet. But it's okay to take a social program and say, oh, you guys are too big to fail. We can't put money in education. We can't put money into healthcare. We can't take care of our elderly. We can't take care of the people that are less well off. That's bad. That's wrong. And right now, all I see is politicians serving lobbies, serving themselves, corporations serving themselves, the richest 1% serving themselves. And the reason, again, and the reason for this channel is we've fallen asleep. We don't have a voice. And the only way we're going to get that voice together is, one, we need to decide what we're going to fight for. And number two, we have to begin fighting for it. God bless America.